Welcome back to the Wins and Losses podcast with Evan Winkler and my main man, Joey Lacapo. How are you today, sir?
Hello, everybody. Good. Not as good as you, though, man. You had a great weekend with those picks, didn't you?
It was pretty good.
Dang, what'd you go, 9-2?
9-2. So if you were betting straight up this week and took my picks,
man, I
you're
tell
looking
you,
pretty good.
I
looking
went
pretty
8-3 and
which
lost.
is a heck of a game. Yeah,
8-3 and lost.
That's the only way I can beat Joey is if I go 9-2, 10-0.
You went 5-0
whatever.
in college.
Yeah.
You picked them all of our college games. You picked right.
So the Buffs are back with me this week. I feel like we've been going back and forth here, so we'll see what the next week.
Enjoy them now, man. I'm getting those bad boys back.
Yeah, I got a week to enjoy them. Week to wear them around town. You know, down in the neighborhood, on walks all week.
Out in the snowstorm we got going on right now.
Yeah, I feel like we're out in Antarctica right now. We're in November
If you're
with all
in
this
Southwest Michigan watching us, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yes.
'Cause it's like a blizzard outside.
We had a lot of schools canceled today, so we had some people home. So that was an interesting day in November.
Yep, it's only November, so let it begin.
How about some college football? I think one of the biggest things for me was the ACC took a big hit this week.
Oh,
we
gosh.
talked about them last week, but we had a bunch of one-loss teams that should have been ranked a little higher. But man, this week they showed maybe they shouldn't be.
You know, they
Some
really
bad losses.
they really look like a one-bid league to me. I really
hurts 'em.
feel like the winner of the ACC and only the winner is going to get in.
Yeah.
You thought maybe Miami could still win. You thought maybe Georgia Tech, because Georgia Tech was undefeated with one loss if they beat Georgia, maybe Georgia Tech. But, you know, it's like, honest to God, Virginia was undefeated in conference for a while, you know. And then they went down, and Louisville was great, and they only had one loss. They went down. Duke, they have 4 losses, but are like have one conference loss, you know. So who knows what's going to happen? But that ACC, I don't think is going to take any bids away from the Big 12 or the Big 10 or SEC.
So, well, how about this scenario? Let's say Georgia Tech beats Georgia, and somehow they play Miami in the ACC championship. So Georgia Tech has one loss going in, but they have that win versus Georgia. But then Miami wins. Could you see both of those teams getting in?
Well, they would both be 2-loss teams.
Yep.
What would have to happen in that scenario? You have to leave somebody, either a fourth Big 10 team out, a maybe fourth, potential fifth SEC team out, depending on how that plays out, or a Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Which
also Notre Dame would have to lose too at that point. Maybe,
well,
possibly.
you would
maybe.
have a real gripe if you're a Miami fan, saying, "How you going to leave me
Right.
out when we beat?"
And
Notre
they won their
Dame?"
conference, and they beat a team that just beat Georgia,
Yeah.
or Pitt. I mean, Pitt. We were talking about Pitt. If Pitt
Pitt's
wins
still-
out, well,
Pitt's
they got to
still-
play Notre Dame. They got to play.
Georgia Tech and Miami. They
Yeah.
have played the 3 big boys.
They
so
win
yeah.
all those games.
Yeah,
and they
Pitt
played
really-
Georgia Tech in the championship game. I mean, they could easily make it.
I feel like the committee's really kind of set them up nicely. They threw them in their initial polls at 23 or 24, and they have a game with Notre Dame setting up. Actually, game day is going to be in Pittsburgh this week.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fun.
First time since the year 2000. The
McAfee's going to be happy about that.
Yeah, McAfee's going to. He's all Pittsburgh. He's from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's where he's
so,
from.
So that'd be a little homecoming for Pat McAfee. So yeah, no, it'll be good. I don't know what the weather's looking like out there, but it should be environment should be great. Maybe they can do the upset of the Irish and kind of do the work for the ACC, so they don't have to.
Either Pitt could have a good finish, or they could be 7-5.
Yeah, Pitt's going to play a factor. They're going to play a factor.
We're going to find out what they're at.
Yeah, Pitt's going to play a factor in this CFP, whether they like it or not. So.
Yes. So how was some games this week? We had that big Big 12 showdown. I feel like Texas Tech did a little flexing.
Oh, gosh, they look great.
Game day was down there. Patrick Mahomes was the picker.
They were saying, and
Mahomes,
I truly believe, boy, the atmosphere in Lubbock was just out of this world, man. You could just feel it through the TV. I mean, I got to actually watch a little game day. Since Michigan had a bye this week, I was able to watch a little bit of more college football than I normally would. And the atmosphere was electric. I mean, that stadium looked really small, but they were rocking, and, you know, Mahomes was there, and, you know, I mean, and Texas Tech really lived up to it.
They brought it.
They lived up to it. You know, they had the Patrick Mahomes uniforms, the ice is what they called it, you know, and it's like, and BYU just flat out laid an egg. I don't know if that was
Yeah.
due to Texas Tech's defense or they just didn't come to play.
It's at home versus Texas Tech. Yeah, it's just a lot of factors that can go in there.
But BYU's not dead yet.
Nope.
I mean, they could finish out strong and end up in the Big 12 championship game.
There's another crazy one too, right?
Yeah.
Does if BYU makes it, them and Texas Tech again have a rematch?
Texas Tech would have 2 losses. They would have to knock out a Notre Dame. If you're going to use
yeah.
an at-large on Texas Tech,
It could be crazy.
it could be. It's going to be crazy, and I'll tell you the craziest part about it is that automatic bid from a non-Power 5 conference winner. I don't feel like a Tulane or a Memphis or a James Madison should even be in there. I understand giving the little guy a shot. It's like the Cinderella story.
Yeah.
But when you have big boys that are deserving, and one of the big boys is going to have to be left out to give James Madison.
Well, then you
a
almost,
shot.
I hate to say it, but then you had your first round, you get an easy game.
Yeah, it's like.
And look at Penn State last year. I mean, they had a pretty easy road.
Yeah, no, I agree. They had SMU and
Boise, right?
Boise,
Yeah.
and then they ran up against Notre Dame and almost beat Notre Dame. But it's going to be interesting. So I do think the CFP does need some tweaks. They're talking about expansion to 16, which I do think they're going to do. They're actually talking about expansion to 24, which just would get ridiculous. It's going to become like basketball at that point. But Texas Tech sure flex this weekend.
They did.
Sure flex. They look like a deserving team, definitely a top 10 team.
Yeah.
A team ready to roll into the postseason. So kudos to the Red Raiders.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah.
And then SEC showdown. Texas A&M continues to play amazing football.
A&M flexed, but let me ask you something. Let me ask you. You look at Texas A&M, and they're very, very. They're seemed very held in very high regards by everybody. Yep. They're undefeated. They had a huge road win against Notre Dame. They beat 4 SEC ranked opponents. Yeah. But let me play devil's advocate and look at their schedule. 4 of those SEC teams that they've played, their coaches are gone. LSU's coach got fired. Arkansas's coach got fired.
Oh wow.
Florida's coach Billy Napier got fired, and Auburn's coach got fired. And it's just like, so you look at those were teams that might have seen very, very stout, seen as if they were stout opponents, but how tough were they when they lose one game and their coach gets fired? So I mean,
it's really their only good games of the Notre Dame game. Really,
and even at that, I'm not trying to. I still hate Notre Dame, but you look at that end of the Notre Dame game, and there was a very questionable holding call in Texas A&M that could have been called, and they could have very easily lost that game.
Right.
So Texas A&M is still a big question mark to me. To be honest with you, it's all going to come down to that Texas game. If they beat Texas at Texas, they got my full respect. It's kind of like IU. I know there's a lot of IU lovers and IU believers, and my feelings on IU, and but. And they won a miraculous game this weekend against Penn State. I still am not sold. Once they win a Big Ten title, I'm sold.
Right.
Once they win a Big Ten title, I kind
of feel like you got to beat. They beat Oregon, which is a big dog.
Yes,
I feel like.
Yes, but they beat a down Penn State. Yeah. And Iowa barely on the road, and Iowa, I question how strong they are. And I look at their schedule the past 2 years; they really dodged a lot of the big dogs.
They did last year. They dodged a lot of them.
They lost to Ohio State because they played them last year.
Correct.
And then Michigan really was on the ropes, and Michigan was.
Did they play Oregon last year?
I know.
They missed Oregon and Ohio State.
And Penn State. They didn't play Penn State last year either. So it's like, so they dodged a lot. All they had was Michigan, Ohio State. They lost to Ohio State, barely beat a down Michigan team, and then went in and got steamrolled by Notre Dame. So it's like, I ask you, and then they come into this season, they got the new quarterback. They did.
I feel like they look differently though. They
got
different dogs out there.
Well, I think their quarterback's better.
Yes.
I think Mendoza.
They got a good defensive line. Offensive line's a lot better.
Mendoza's a lot better than Rourke. I don't know if you remember Rourke last
Yes.
year. Mendoza's he's a lot better quarterback. I believe their receivers that Surratt, who was actually out against Penn State, and the kid that made the catch against Penn State is a stud.
And we've been talking about for weeks. The Penn State was due for some kind of game where they might get an upset. You know what I mean? It seemed like this was the one.
I was listening to Joel Klatt a little bit today, and he was saying that he's broadcast numerous Penn State games over the past couple years just due to their affiliation with the Big Ten. And he said has never seen Happy Valley raucous like it was against. And that really shocks me because they've played whiteout games against Oregon. They played huge games against Michigan.
Well, they look
huge
motivated.
games against Ohio
True.
State. And if it was the loudest against Indiana, and they still went out, that shows some guts by the Hoosiers, And even Zignetti got a little choked up after the game, and
It was gritty. I feel like you always have a game like that. At some point,
I thought
you got to win.
I thought that
right?
Iowa game was their game. I really thought that Iowa game was but they had 2 of them. You know? I mean,
and they found a way that last drive. I thought for sure Indiana was going to lose.
But
that was a great. Mendoza had some great throws.
I had to watch
constantly
the replay.
under pressure. I feel like Penn State was all over him.
Initial reaction to that catch, I thought for sure he was out of bounds.
I did too.
I had no.
I was like, how did he catch that? There's no way possible.
But he did. I mean, it was legit. It was. I mean, I saw it with my own.
The ref was right there.
It was a fabulous catch, fabulous call, fabulous play. Good win for the Hoosiers. It's a great win for the Hoosiers. I'm still, like I said, I'm still not a believer, still not a fan. But they're going to play in the Big Ten championship, so we'll see whoever they have, whether it be Ohio State, whether it be Michigan, whether it be Oregon, who else? USC still left.
So my question leaving that game now though is how is Indiana's pass protection versus a good because they hit Mendoza a lot.
I think
Penn State was all over him.
I think Indiana is awesome at all phases, all facets of the game. I think Indiana has a fantabulous offensive line. I think they have great receivers, great quarterback, great deep line, great running backs. Where Indiana is lacking, and that's just due to their quote-unquote newness, is they just don't have depth. They have not. Indiana has not.
I was kind of thinking that too. If you have too many people hurt, what's going to happen?
They have not recruited. Obviously, they're Indiana, so they built this team through the transfer portal, and they've literally built them 22 deep. They got 11 on each side. But you start having injuries, which happens in football, and they just don't have that recruiting base built up like an Ohio State who's been recruiting top 10 for years, Michigan who's been recruiting, Notre Dame who's been recruiting, LSU who's been recruiting. So I think that's where Indiana, that's the one, and that's something Cignetti can't change. He can only change through time.
Correct. Yeah.
That's not something you can immediately change.
Correct. You can't build depth.
So and I do think that's going to come back to hurt Indiana. I mean, they're going to get into the playoff. I mean, I don't question.
If they get a bye, if they get a bye, they get some guys back. They got to be careful of the injuries.
But they're going to play with fire. They're going to get into some big games with some big boys that have 2-3 running backs, 2-3 receivers. They have a couple defensive lines. That was the thing about Michigan's 2023 team. You could pull out a couple of their D linemen and you would just plug them back in.
You just keep plugging them in.
I mean, we were so deep. We turned out so many NFL athletes on that team, whether they graduated in 23 or 24. It's just that team was deep. And that was built through recruiting, through Harbaugh. And I think Cignetti will do that. I just don't think IU's there yet.
Yes, and that's what Michigan's trying to build right now too.
Oh, 100%. And I think they'll be just fine. Michigan's going to be just fine.
Now the real Big Ten game that was big was Oregon and Iowa. There was a lot on the line there.
That was a lot.
Obviously, it was down in the cornfields of Iowa. It was rainy and gross.
It was so funny because
it was pretty much an Iowa-like type game.
Herb Street literally almost called that score to a T, except he said Iowa was going to win. He's like, it's going to be one of those gritty games. They're going to last-second field goal. It's going to be like an 18-15 game.
You think Iowa goes down, you think they win it, right?
Yeah, I know. And
you see Dan Lane at halftime, though? They were like, what do you think of this game? I love the rain. I love the rain. So he was embracing it with his team.
Well, yeah, you look at him. He didn't have a coat. He was sopping wet. He was freezing cold.
Warm.
But, that dude is just insanely focused. He's a great coach. He had that team ready to play. And they don't look like world beaters out there. But when Dante Moore had to make the pass, he threaded that needle, got him in field goal position, and they knocked the field goal.
Good teams find a way to win.
100%.
They find gritty ways to win.
A win's a win.
I think a lot of teams, sometimes you're like, well, it was just Iowa. But when you're in conference play.
Iowa was in the hunt.
Yes.
They were in the hunt for the Big Ten.
And when you're in conference play, it's just a different beast when you're playing conference opponents like week in and week out.
Well,
so it just ups. Everyone wants to win conference games, and I think it's just different when you're playing games that are not conference.
A couple of other games that were just we're going to glaze right by them because they weren't the best, but they were on our radar, I guess. Clemson took care of Florida State, couple of two very down ACC teams. Really worried for Mike Norvell's future out there for the Seminoles.
We said today they're going to win a national title in the near future.
Yeah, well, I think he might be a dead man walking. We'll see about that. That Bama LSU game was kind of a snoozer. I actually chose to watch most of that over the Notre Dame game. And they both were very boring games. Notre Dame took care of Navy in the rain. Weather played a factor into that, but not really.
Yeah, Notre Dame took care of business.
Yeah, Jeremiah Love was just right.
Or was it Jordan Love?
Jeremiah. Like,
Because remember the last podcast I was talking about Jordan, his brother.
Nah.
I don't think they're brothers.
Auburn Vanderbilt went into OT. Boy, Vanderbilt just cannot buy.
I thought they were going to lose.
They can
Vanderbilt, man,
they can just not buy a win. Diego Pavia coming through for the Commodores there. And Mississippi State really, I thought, would give Georgia a tough time. Georgia went in and handled their business.
That was a good win
Georgia
for them.
and Oregon are so eerily similar because they're not really impressive to just watch. They just handle their business.
They just
keep
gritty,
moving
don't they? Just
forward.
find a way.
They just keep moving forward. And it would not shock me if we got a Georgia-Oregon national championship game.
There's a lot of
because they
teams,
just find ways to win. So.
Yep. So the big trick play this week.
Oh,
How about USC with a little switcheroo there, Joey?
This was so
Kind of like my
shady.
switcheroo today.
So you noticed Evan went with the clean shaven look. He's the only guy I know that grows his beard in the summer and shaves it in the winter. So
why go the same direction as everyone else?
Now he's gonna freeze like the rest of us.
It's good for the pores.
That's right. Tightens them up.
Yep.
No, but you're talking about the USC.
Yeah.
I don't know, for those of you that are aware or unaware, USC beat Northwestern on Friday night. They did a punt in that game against Northwestern where they had their third string quarterback switch his jersey to number 80, which is their normal punter's number. Went in, faked a punt, and literally threw a dime to a receiver to pick up a first down. They ended up scoring on that play, or that series.
Yeah.
And it should have been an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and even the Big Ten admitted that. But it's just an ethical thing. That is the most shady, dirty thing Lincoln Riley could have probably. And why is he doing it against Northwestern? If you're going to do something like that, do it to beat the Buckeyes. Or
totally.
Do it,
yes. You have such bigger games coming up. What are you doing?
It's just like, man, oh, man. So it was pretty shady, pretty dirty. I'm sure some rules, because really they didn't break the rule because he was listed.
He turned a roster in that has his number.
He was listed on the roster, but not on any online because this was his first game. It wasn't like on any online roster. So everybody thought number 80, because USC does not have their names on the back of the jerseys. So they thought number 80 was their normal punter when it wasn't. It was their third string quarterback. So interesting play by Lincoln Riley.
Switcheroo.
I don't know why you do that. They could have beat Northwestern without that.
Yes.
But interesting play.
Makes it fun.
Yeah, no, it's just Lincoln Riley doing Lincoln Riley.
Things they can do. Exactly. So do you feel like, is it Texas Tech versus Indiana on the Natty? Is that what you're thinking?
How would you feel if it was a Texas Tech Indiana? You know, for all of you people,
that'd be crazy.
All of you people out there that are Cinderella story lovers and are just giddy over Indiana and giddy over Texas Tech. Let me pose a question to you, just like if it was an Indiana versus Texas Tech national championship, how excited would you be to watch that? How excited would you be to watch that?
Well, I think I'd love to see Indiana there, actually.
Yeah, but as opposed to, let's say, it would be an Alabama-Ohio State, which we've come to know, or a Georgia.
Well, if Ohio State's in there, I don't really want to watch.
No, but
yes, the ratings are going to be a lot better. That sounds like the matchup, right?
The quality of football, although Indiana's playing good, you almost have that blue blood name. Indiana hasn't built it up yet. You know, I heard it.
How if somehow Georgia Tech and BYU made it?
Yeah, you know, it's almost like that, or like Ole Miss and Texas Tech. It's just, you almost want a name brand in there. At least I do. Maybe I'm in the.
I'd love to see some new teams in there. I don't think as many people would watch.
Maybe
for sure.
I'm in the minority.
It'd be fun.
I mean, please comment if you have any opinions on that or not. I just thought I'd throw it out there to Evan because I just thought, man, you know, for all these people that are loving the Texas Tech hype, they're a different team and it's good to see different. Loving the Indiana first 10-0 in school history. Oh my God, Signetti's a god. Blah blah blah. Yeah, but do you really want to watch him play for the Navy? An Indiana fan does, but like a
lot of people around here do.
A casual sports fan, let's say some dude living out in Texas. Do you think he wants to watch Indiana? Well, they probably Texas Tech. Some dude living out in Montana.
I always enjoy a little Cinderella.
Yeah,
the Cinderella story.
It'd be like in the Final Four, like remember when George Mason was in the Final Four?
Or BCU,
it was just bad, man. So I don't know, just threw it out there. Whatever, you know, we'll see what happens. It could happen. Could happen. Both those.
Joey
teams
just doesn't like the
well.
little guy. I mean, come on, you know.
When it comes down to it, I like the story of the Cinderella, but I think we all want to watch the big boys play. The big boys are a big boy for a reason. We all just want to see Michigan win anyway, right?
Yeah, totally. Michigan national title winner. I mean, that's really what we all want.
Go blue.
So, big breaking news in the NFL. We got the first coach fired.
Yeah, Brian Daboll got canned today. Yeah, I saw that.
They have literally they're kind of like the Bears from last year.
Yep, they just can't find a
They
way
get
to
up,
win. Yep.
but they find a way to lose.
Find a way to lose. Yeah,
Oh, the Jets, right?
And you look at the Bears. The Bears, it took them 1 year. They turned the corner. There's about 4 games this season they've been trailing, and for all rights, should have lost. Yesterday being one of them.
Just takes the right coach and the right system, doesn't it?
Just came back.
Just think about it.
And it's so funny how
and Dart's a great quarterback, just like Caleb Williams.
People's perception of Caleb Williams. He loses those 4 games, they're going to want him benched, traded, or gone.
Yes.
Now he's like seen as the new superstar, forever quarterback.
And the most potential in the NFL.
It's just so funny what a couple of wins or a couple of lucky breaks will get you. Who'd have thought they won that Bengals game a couple of weeks ago, or even come back in that Giants. If Jackson Dart goes out, it doesn't go out, I question they might not have won that. And I'm a Bears fan. I'm glad they won, know, but it's just like,
I agree.
Russell Wilson didn't do him any favors coming in there and doing nothing. But congrats to the Bears. Bears are playing well. They're 6-3.
They got that win, but
thick of the playoff hunt.
Another crazy thing that happened was that Jets game. Back-to-back scoring plays for them, kickoff return and a punt return. Like I'm playing fantasy football and I see the Jets are up 14-7. I'm like, how are they already up? I checked this. They had a punt return to kickoff. When was the last time that's happened in a game?
Probably never.
That's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Back-to-back plays. I think the kickoff return was with like 6 minutes. Was 6:38 to go in the first quarter. And then at 6 minutes, they had a punt return.
Yeah, that's crazy. So,
that's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is.
The lowly Jets winning 2 in a row. Watch out.
And also,
trade all those players away.
I was just scrolling through the scores. Saw the Jaguars were up 19 on the Texans, 29-10.
Yeah.
I looked at the final score and the Texans won 36-19. I'm like, how did that happen?
Really?
Boy, yeah. No, the Texans came back to beat them. They had a fumble return with the second left. They were up 1, but they came back to win with the backup quarterback. Case Keenum brought them back. It's just
Stroud went out?
Yeah, Stroud, he never played. He had a concussion yesterday.
We've had some crazy Indians in the NFL this year.
Yeah, no, the NFL, there's so much parity. I mean, that Buccaneers, Patriots, Baker touchdown maker had every opportunity to come back and do it. I tell you what, man, that Patriots D shut them down. They're hot. They won 7 in a row.
But do you see that last play, though? He's like, Baker's running around, look like he's sacked, and he throws it like back behind his back. He got complete, but
he's trying. He's trying, man. But yeah, Bucks went
Mr.
down.
Mayday took him.
Ravens went into JJ's house, took care of business. They're getting hot. The Ravens won 3 in a row. They're only a game behind the Steelers now. I tell you,
Joey did say when they were 1-5, watch out for the Ravens, baby.
Chargers look good. Steelers look horrible. How can they look great against the Colts one week and horrible against the Chargers last night?
Yeah, they're so up and down. I mean, that's obviously the NFL too, though. I mean, they went out to Charger Stadium. We thought that could be tough.
Yeah, no.
Chargers are a solid team.
They're banged up though. I tell you, a huge loss for them is that Joe Alt, their offensive lineman's out. They've struggled. Herbert's been taking some punishment back there, but yeah, Rams look dominant against the 49ers. Matt Stafford, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 2nd straight game in a row.
They're on fire, and they also have that great young defense.
Yeah,
Rams are looking good.
Yeah, Rams are tough.
And how about that Colts game over in them and the Falcons over there in
was that in Germany?
Germany, yeah. Germany. That was quite a game. Overtime, back and forth.
Jonathan Taylor.
I'll tell you some running backs performances. Taylor and Gibbs.
I tell you what, man, the Colts
Gibbs was a stud too.
The Colts are looking good. You look at that division; they got a nice lead. They got a 2-game lead over Jacksonville. That's how big that loss for Jacksonville was yesterday. And Houston's throwing their name right back in the mix. Denver's got that 1-game lead on the Chargers. Pittsburgh's kind of falling back to the pack. Baltimore's sneaking, only 1 game behind.
Who would think Buffalo would be?
Buffalo took a terrible loss to the Dolphins. How could Buffalo?
It looked horrible.
They're supposedly a Super Bowl contending team going into Miami and getting dogged out like that. Tonight's a huge game between the Eagles and the Packers. Yeah. If the Eagles win, they open up a 3-game lead or 4-game lead against the Cowboys. Pretty much seal that division.
Yep.
If the Packers win, they stay a game up or half game up on the Lions and the Bears, who are right behind them. That NFC North is just as good as we thought it'd be. Everybody's right there.
Yep.
The Lions played great yesterday in front of the president.
Yeah, it was.
In Washington.
Dan Campbell's calling plays too again. He took the reins, but he still wants Johnny to help him out. But that was a big thing yesterday.
I think Mr. Morton might be looking at the writing on the wall. He might be trying to look for other jobs.
He did say in his press conference, this is different than 2021 when they fired the coordinator. But who knows? I don't know.
We'll see. Lions look good yesterday. They got J-Mo involved.
Yeah.
I know
J-Mo was a stud yesterday. Gibbs was a stud.
Good. Gibbs was
He's
running
so
well.
fast.
But I tell you who looks really good, and Seattle. Seattle Seahawks. Look out, Sam Darnold, them boys are playing.
So after 10 games or so, I guess some people played 9, some have played 10. Who's your best team in the NFC then?
Yeah.
You going with Seattle?
Well, if Philly wins convincingly tonight, it's hard for me to go against the Eagles. If
just because they're defending champs?
Yeah, if the Packers win, that could maybe signify the Packers. I still think the Lions and the Seahawks. I'm going to say the Lions. And you're going to say you're a homer, you're just going to go Lions. Yeah. I'm not. I just think they're a better team. The 3 games they did lose, the one of the Packers was legit. The other 2, the ones of the Chiefs and the one to the Vikings, they had ample opportunity. The Vikings was turnover.
They shot themselves in their own foot with a turnover.
And the Chiefs, man, it was just one drop here, one drop there. They're one play away from it. Yeah. That one trick play that went awry, that where Goff scored. Should have scored. That's a game changer. So yeah, I look at. I still think the Lions are the team.
I like the Rams in that. I think
Rams are playing well.
They got a killer offense. They got some really good tight ends. They got Nakua. They got Adams out there.
When do the Rams play the Seahawks?
I mean, they got Williams. Is the only reason I picked the Rams over the Seahawks right now is because the Seahawks, Donald's played great in the regular season, but they didn't play as very good in the playoffs. So Stafford's a playoff proven. He's a Super Bowl winner. So we'll see. Do you see he's 500 in his career now?
Matt Stafford?
215 and 215.
I did see that. Yeah. No.
That was big.
He has to make up for all those losing years with the Vikings. When do the Rams play the Seahawks? Is that coming up?
See the Rams there?
Did I pass them?
Maybe they could have a bye this week.
We should. It's coming up next week.
Next week. That'll be a big game next week.
I knew it was coming up soon.
In L.A.
Sorry for our unpreparedness.
It's just part of the flow. We didn't know we'd get into that topic.
But yeah, no, honest to God, that is for the division lead. That's going to tell me something. Who's the best in the NFC? That might tell you right there. So,
how you feeling? What's your best team in the AFC right now? Who you liking? Who are you most confident in right now?
Most confident in? Honestly, I can't believe I'm saying it. The Colts. I think they're consistent. I think they're playing well. I mean, granted, they're in kind of a weaker division, but it's them or Denver. I trust the Colts more than I trust the Broncos. Patriots are playing good. I might do the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm picking Patriots. I like Vrabel.
So,
I think he's a heck of a coach. Drake May is balling out. He might be, just like Daniel Jones, he might be an MVP candidate this year. Mr. Mayday.
So, the NFL's about halfway through getting juicy, but I didn't want to go without saying Michigan basketball's up to number 6 this week in the AP polls. You know how much I love the polls, but hey, it is what it is.
What's it mean,
they did get a first place vote, which is awesome. Hopefully Dusty didn't make that vote, but we do play Wake Forest.
Dusty, who do you vote for this week, number 1?
We do play Wake Forest on Tuesday, so hopefully get another win under our belt. TCU on Friday, so got 2 big games this week, so good luck to the amazing blue basketball team. Detroit Pistons 10-2 in the NBA, second best record behind OKC, defending champs. How about Cade and the boys playing some ball out there?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Detroit basketball looks
that's exciting because they made the playoffs last year. You're kind of thinking, are they going to make another step up, or will they go back? Either thing's going to happen.
Natural progression.
So I'm hoping that continues to go up. We're still early in the season as well, but
keep it rolling, Pistons.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to be back on. Are we doing Thursday or Friday this week?
We're probably going to do Thursday.
Yeah. We're going to be back on Thursday for our picks and predictions for the upcoming week in college.
And week 2, talk about the CFP. See what kind of big changes happen.
CFP polls come
That could be
tomorrow,
some good thing.
So should be interesting. So
big game tonight. Who you got, Phillies or
quick? The Eagles.
Eagles.
All right. So until next time, we will see you and say go
Blue.